Shredmaster Scott, and this video is called Satanic Metal Guitar Trick. In a moment, we'll dive into 20th century composer Arnold Schoenberg's 12-tone serialist technique. It's one of the best tricks to produce mortifying dissonance by giving equal attention to the 12 notes in the chromatic scale. We'll cover the prime, inversion, retrograde, retrograde inversion, and even Igor Stravinsky's inversion retrograde. So grab your axe and leave average metalheads in the dust with this satanic sonic sorcery. Always was a fan of alliteration. Now prepare yourself and let's dive into this satanic metal guitar trick. As I mentioned, Arnold Schoenberg is credited with inventing serialism. Born in 1874, died in 1951. I think it's important to note that he immigrated to the United States during World War II. So the war may have had an effect on the sounds that he wrote. Can you hear it? And basically the whole idea is to avoid any semblance of tonality through writing a basic set. And we're actually going to use the same set in my college music theory book, which was written in the year 666, the year I was born. Very evil year. So here's the prime from my theory book. All 12 notes of the chromatic scale in no particular order. Next up, you write what's called the inversion. Now the inversion is the prime with the intervals reversed. So in the prime we go from C down to E. That's a minor 6 descending, which means we're going to ascend a minor 6 in the inversion. C up to A flat. Next comes the retrograde, which is the prime backwards. Check it out, here's that C descending down to E, that minor 6, so it's just written backwards. Lots of good Satan happening when you back it up. Next we have retrograde inversion, which is the intervals of the retrograde reversed. Or you could say upside down. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Igor Stravinsky's variation on this idea, which is the inversion played backwards. Back it up. Now here's a really cool concept. Try making chords out of the basic set. So all I did here is, there's 12 notes altogether, so I just put them in groups of 3s. Sounds pretty fucked up, but that's the whole point here. Some of these actually turn out to be, just regular chords. Like this is a C7 over E. And then there's just some really bizarre dissonant ones too. Here you got an F Lydian cluster. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that's all well and good, Shred, but how do we make some music with this idea? Well, let's have a look. In this first example, I've got an atonal melody happening. For the bass line, I've used the retrograde, and basically I'm just ascribing my own rhythms to all these notes. So the composer has the freedom to do that within the serialist framework. Now let's get into a real metal cue. I've taken the inversion. We're going to use this for a doom metal sound. Next, let's build on top of that doom metal cue. So we're going to keep the inversion bass line happening, and then I'm going to add some arpeggios from those chords we did earlier. Same notes, but I'm just going to play them one after another instead of block chords. And again, it's up to you what rhythms you ascribe to each of the notes. Now let's check out another really creepy sound. Here I'm using Stravinsky's inversion retrograde. This could be the music in some sort of movie chase sequence. And something I want to note here is you can take any one of these variations and modulate it like I did here. So I took the inversion retrograde and modulated it up a minor third. Now you could do that with any one of the rows from the basic set, by the way, which gives you tons of possible options. So check it out. Let's talk about you as a guitarist in 2019. The guitar has become such a popular instrument, you've really got to bring it to stand out these days. I'm noticing everyone is hyper-focused on things like technique, sweep picking, finger tapping, alternate picking, but I rarely see guitar players who have a command of composition, arranging, and songwriting. And that's really what this channel is becoming about. I'll leave a link to my Patreon page below where I upload a new concept in music theory every day. Of course, it includes technique too, but it's more about the application of the technique and also about internalizing general concepts. I think if you can find the own unique sound within you, you're really going to stand out a lot more and people will seek out your sound. And that's not going to happen if you just mindlessly play cage system arpeggios for 12 hours a day. Option 2, just write Schoenberg tone rows forever and ever. No one's going to love you and you're going to die alone though. So I'll leave a link to all the tabs and MP3s for this lesson below at my Patreon page. And real quick, if you really want to take your theory knowledge to the next level, check out my daily theory quizzes on Instagram. Next, let's check out a metal syncopated sound. All right, let's check out an 11 level dissonant cue. And here's where I'm cheating a little bit on the rules. So I'm adding a C pedal tone in the bass behind all of this insanity happening up here, which is just the chords we talked about. But I'm playing each one of the notes on a separate guitar track. The resulting effect is an apocalyptic cataclysm of dissonance. Now you can also use this concept for some atmospheric sounds. Check it out. No one's going to listen to your music if all you write is tone rows. The point of this video is to give you another tool to explore your creativity. Use it sparingly and in the proper context, and the results can be bitchy. Now, I know everyone's scared shitless to take risks these days, mainly due to the excessive judgment on social media. Regardless, I suggest you lower your fucks and try this shit out. As always, remember to make music theory your bitch, and until next time, shred till you're dead. 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 Dead.
It's here.